What's going on YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina. Welcome to a very quick Wednesday video where I've seen many comments lately from you guys saying, Mr. Ferguson, I did a complete lawn renovation. I finally got into lawn care this past fall or last spring, and I am so eager to mow my lawn. I'm so eager for spring to get here, and I'm with you. I enjoy the break of not having to mow, not having to stripe, not having to do that, especially now we're trying to get the project lawn going up at the church, that little area, as well as this is kind of cruise control and easy street now in my lawn, but I totally understand. And that's what I want to just touch base on a little bit today on this very quick Wednesday video. Before we jump into the topic, make sure you're subscribed, click the like button if you enjoy the video, click the bell if you want to be notified when I put videos out. That's what that little bell icon is for. So be sure you do that. Friday, I've already recorded it, and it's going to be a special Christmas video. Be sure and check that out. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'll just leave it at that. Tune in then, and then I probably will not have one coming out on Monday, probably not Wednesday. We've got traveling to the in-laws. My brother will be in. It's just the holiday time of the year, right? So next week, probably no videos unless something comes up and I film. Maybe at Dad's, I see something and I film. You never know. I say these things and then put one out. So check out next week. It's going to be an iffy video week, but Friday, tune in for a special Christmas one. I'm anxious as you guys are to get back in the lawn, but I want to look ahead with you, maybe some of the newbies, some of the people that are still tuning in. Obviously, you're excited for spring. Looking ahead at, number one, it's Christmas time. Maybe there's some items you guys can purchase and get ahead of. Number one, the next thing on the list, the next big thing that we're going to be doing in a fescue or cool season lawn is come the end of February here in North Carolina, maybe a little later the further north you get, but we're talking about pre-emergent. If you're wondering, we did a weed video not too long ago this past week. We talked about, Mr. Ferguson, how do you not have a lot of weeds in the lawn? I kind of got distracted when I walked up on that weed. But number one, a thick set of turf, meaning you're overseeding every other year. You're keeping your turf thick. That helps to stop the weeds from popping up in your lawn, number one. And that is the au naturel way to do it. If you're like, well, I don't like pre-emergent, I don't want to put down a herbicide, I don't like that, I want to be natural, then the thickest lawn you can create is going to help you prevent weeds and the availability of weeds to come up. But we know how weeds are. They find the crack, they pop up. We know crabgrass is going to make a appearance more than likely, pretty confident if we don't use pre-emergent. Now, I have done prodiamine in the past. I normally do my prodiamine in the spring. I use dithiopyr, the other long-lasting pre-emergent. I did dithiopyr, dithiopyr here this past fall. I did it the previous fall as well. Since I've used pre-emergent in the fall and not overseeded, I've not had an issue with Poa annua. So I've verified in person in my own lawn, when I use pre-emergent in the fall, I am stopping Poa annua. It absolutely works. So if you're one right now that's looking out the window of your cool season lawn here in these cooler months and you're seeing Poa annua everywhere, don't get frustrated. Let's overseed, try to survive summer months, keep your lawn thick, and then get to the point where you can then use pre-emergent in the fall, overseed, you use pre-emergent this fall, and go back and forth. You don't have to constantly overseed if it's already thick. You guys have seen that in my lawn. So we're looking forward to spring. Now, spring's pre-emergent is not about Poa annua. Spring's pre-emergent. Now, if you're dealing with Poa annua right now, let me hold that for a second. If you're dealing with Poa annua right now, it's going to last all the way out. Some people say even to June, depending on the heat level. The heat will kill the Poa annua eventually. In North Carolina, it's around the beginning of May. It dies out. But you got to deal with those seed heads and all that mess. So you want to bag your mow. You don't want to spread it. But going back into spring, we want to go ahead and prepare either dithiopyr, dithiopyr, or prodiamine prodiamine, we want to apply that in spring. That's going to stop the whole spring, the whole summer. That's going to control all of these summer weeds, like we got broadleaf weeds that are coming up now, your dandelions, all that mess, but primarily crabgrass. That's what we're looking forward to. So point being, if you don't have any prodiamine, go ahead, shop around. There's Christmas discounts. We've got GCI linked below. It's not going to be specific products down there. I put a link to GCI, just the store. It does help support Mr. Ferguson. So if you use that, thank you very much. Or maybe you got somebody that's like your neighbor. You want to give them a gift, and maybe that gift of, hey, here's some prodiamine. What the heck is prodiamine? You explain to them, hey, you know how in the summer you were talking about them dandelions and all that in your, yeah, if you put this stuff down, and it can be, let me mention this. I'll also link Yardmaster, because Yardmaster will have granular prodiamine. You can put it down in your spreader. You don't have to mix it up and spray it like I do or other people. So I'll link that Yardmaster as well. So, but yeah, give a gift to your neighbor and say, hey, and it may get them into lawn care. Say, yeah, watch Mr. Ferguson, subscribe. He's a great guy and he needs your support. So you can mention that as well. But that's the next big thing we're talking about, is stopping crabgrass. So we're getting over the holidays. We're going to get through January, and then come the end of February here, that's when I start to look at doing my prodiamine. All right, I got to walk out in the sun and get a little bit of warmth right here. The next thing you want to possibly be looking at purchasing now for the future, there's a couple things that I recommend, or a couple things I've used that I think is a good idea. The natural adjuvant from peat. I've recently started trying that out. And the big thing here in North Carolina is we get dry. We get so dry in the late spring into the summer. And so the natural adjuvant promotes 50% water retention in your turf. So if you've struggled with dry spots, calcium, we talked about the 505 and the 101 with the high calcium that GCI Turf has. That's why I'm wearing their hat, because I'm talking about their products. Pete's line of fertilizers, that is a great thing to stock up on. But the natural adjuvant, if you haven't tried it, I would recommend try it out. You can put down natural adjuvant with the low amounts of your fungicides, and it gets it immediately into, if you've got infected grass, it's immediately going to begin to work to stop the fungus in your yard. But the natural adjuvant with your herbicides, it immediately begins to help your lawn. And so that's something you may want to consider there. The second one is what I just said, your fungicides. Azoxystrobin is the one that I've been using, and you don't want to use it all the time, but azoxystrobin is pretty expensive. But if you've got a budget set aside right now for it, it is a great product. Using that with the propiconazole is a great mixture to put down in the lawn, and you're likely to not have any issues with fungicide, but you have different group ratings. So you may want to mix it up. Look on domyown.com, which we've also linked that below. There's tons of herbicides, there's tons of fungicides, granular, some that you spray. But this is the time of year where I would encourage you, go ahead and get the products you need. And then you got biostimulants. If you want to have, remember I talked about we've been transplanting, and digging in my grass has been just a breeze. It's because of the humic acid. So RGS is something great. Spoon juice is something that they have now on Yard Mastery, GCI Turf. And then you got the green effect for the iron that we can put in the lawn to darken the color up. So biostimulants. So it's a great, and you can gift some of these things as well. So I'm looking forward and looking ahead to the year ahead of the things that are next to come, mainly fungicides. And then we also know when it starts to get hot out, water retention, right? We always talk about, what do we try? The C, not only CK. CK is great to put in as well. That sea kelp is great for your turf for stress management. And the reason why, if you've not heard me say this, kelp is in the ocean in a very rough and tough environment. They've extracted the kelp and put it in liquid form. And so applying that to your fescue grass, like kelp, makes it tough. Makes it tough in the winter, tough in the summer as well. But Hydrotain is something else that you may want to look at, maybe not. It's supposed to help promote keeping hydration into the soil so that that water lasts as long as possible before it dries out in certain areas. These are the times you may want to look at trying to stock up on such things. So just wanted to mention that. on this Wednesday is looking ahead. You know, we're looking at our pre-emergent. That's huge. I do split apps. We're going to go over that once again. We do it every year. So if you're going to do it with me, it depends on location. Depends on the soil temperatures. We don't want to be putting that down too early, but we put it down and then we'll put down a second app later, and we'll get into that. I've got it in my history if you want to check out what I'm talking about. But that's kind of the things that I was thinking about this Wednesday, looking ahead, prepping, getting all of our gear, getting all of our liquids together. Maybe you want to go ahead and buy that fertilizer for your spring app, your high nitrogen. Use the links below if you're wanting to do that. It would help me out. It helps out Pete using GCI Turf. But hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Just wanted to give you something. I love the warmth of the sun. It feels much better. But check out Friday's video, and hopefully you guys have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoyed it today. We'll see you next time.